Hey guys, this is Balefire. I'm going to be doing a quick demonstration on a situation that I run into quite a bit, and that's how to manage getting a sort of small logo file from your client. It doesn't necessarily mean that the client, doesn't have a large file, but most of the time I don't even bother waiting for them to email me an official vector file or official high-res version or something like that. I just will go through this process on my own because it's pretty effective as long as it's decent size. And this one is this is 100%. I have a 27-inch monitor, I guess for scale. It is 4 inches by 1.72 inches at 300 resolution, which is good, but I want it to be bigger because I want to put it on a t-shirt, and you're going to see what happens when I blow it up and why it wouldn't work on a t-shirt as is. So I'm basically putting this on the top of a jumbo size print. So for safety, I'm going to go for 17 inches at 300. Here's a 100% view. You can already see there's a lot of blurring going on and anti-aliasing. The more I zoom in, the worse it gets. It's pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is turn this thing into a bitmap, which is going to force it to make all this little fuzzy data into either black pixel or white pixel, and not all these shades of gray or these little transitional shades. The bitmap mode in Photoshop means only black and white pixels, as far as I know. But that's my understanding of it and how I use it. So first, I'm going to go Image, Grayscale, discard color information, yes. The next thing I want to do is, I have this gray in here, and this gray, if I were to bitmap it, I'm not even sure what it would do unless I did a halftone screen, which I don't want to do. That's just, sort of another texture in the mix that I wasn't planning on. So what I want to do is, I really just want to make this black so I can get to the inside stuff here. And I could probably skip this bitmap step, but just for the sake of information, I'm going to do it for this. I want to get to the white on the inside because that's the actual logo, and I'll recreate the stroke and the drop shadow stuff, or whatever you want to call it, on the t-shirt file itself and make it fit the design nicely. So first things first, I want to go adjust the levels, which is Command L on Mac. And the way that levels works is this is a readout of the gray channel. I'm sure if I had full color I could see more of them, but I only really use it for black and white, for checking values and things like that and adjusting them. So it's in bitmap mode it's set to grayscale. On the far right is full white, and the far left is full black. The middle is gray. So you can see that I have a spike in the black end and a spike on the white end. So this dark gray is obviously this middle spike. So if I drag this up, this is setting where black is. So if I drag this up to where that is, the gray is gone, it became black. And I pull it back, it's close to black, so it's kind of relational. But I want it to be black, so I was just showing you. Hit OK. Alright. Now we have black and white. Image, mode, bitmap. For this purpose, I want to do a 50% threshold. Make sure the output is the same as the input. I don't really even know what would happen if it wasn't, but I think it's automatically comes up as a matching output. And this isn't the same also. This is a similar method to how I would do halftoning, but it's at least as far as getting the bitmap going. But the threshold is different. Hit OK. Now I'm going to get this jaggedy Microsoft Paint-esque edge here. And that's what I want because, first of all, if I were to print this, it would look pretty good. Here's 100%. You can see it in there, but that's not going to translate in print, especially on cloth. But I'm going to use this, I'm going to dump it over to Illustrator and do a trace on it, live trace, image trace, whatever you want to call it. And that's going to smooth out those edges and turn them into a vector path. So Command A, Control A, select all, whichever you want to call it, copy it, bring it over. Okay, so here's the bitmap in Illustrator. I'm going to bring it on the gray so you can see what's going on with the background. Actually, that's interesting. I didn't know it would do that. I usually just leave it on the white, but I wanted to show something. When tracing, it's going to still read that there is white here because it's a raster image that it's working with. So when it turns it into vector, I'm going to expand this real quick so you can see what's happening. This area is, you know, filled with white, and this area is filled with black. The weird thing is like, oops. I'm gonna go inside that. All right, cool. So you can see I was able to pull that off, and they're literally identical paths, just touching, you know, butted up against each other. Anyway, this is pointless right now. Just explaining too much, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just backing up to the initial trace. So if I wanted to, I could expand that and delete all the white areas, or take what I want and go from there. But I have a setting that I made myself called Bitmap Logo to Vector. It's going to knock out the white, and it's got my settings pretty much the way I like them. I don't think it really matters in this logo because it's kind of a bulky, you know, comic book-esque or horror style font that isn't really precise, and there's no texture to it either outside these little chunks of it that are floating around. So now I have just the black, and I'll just go through my settings on this really quickly. I named it Bitmap Logo to Vector. Its mode is black and white, threshold 95, if you click advanced, paths 69%, corners 86%, noise 1 pixel. It's set to abutting, doesn't matter because I just want the black, so there's no other shape that I'm looking for out of it. Fills, yes, and ignore white, that's the other one that's important. And when I uncheck it, you'll see it brought back that white. So ignore white, it'll tell you how many colors are in the actual data, and it's just one, and that's what I wanted. So we can get rid of that, expand it, and I have this grouped object, which is actually pretty much what I need now. What I also want to do is I just want to grab the inside, so I'm just going to quickly select out the areas that I want and use a color filter selection to get this part, because I'm going to redo the other effects on the t-shirt file itself. So I'm missing, here we go. Zoom in here, I can't see all these details. And while I'm doing this, I guess I'll mention that a lot of times when I encounter this situation, and I end up creating an actual, you know, vector format logo for the client, especially in situations where I know that they don't have one, or I know that they, you know, just don't have a high-res version or something really, you know, useful for artists and other products. I'll just throw this in with I'll just send it over to them, and, you know, they usually appreciate that. And why not? I already did the quick little vectorization of it, so looks like I got everything. Oh, fun little spot. Okay, so I have this thing now. I'm gonna hit expand because it's still a live paint group, which is these little like snowflake shapes in the handles or corners signify. They go away when I hit expand. Now it's just a regular type of group. So I'm going to double click to go into the group. Looks like there's still another group to go into here. Okay, so yeah. I'm at the level I want to be at inside a group and another group. That's one of the things I don't like about the live paint method. It ends up just creating group upon group upon group depending on how you use it. That's why I have some actions to simplify things for me. Anyway, this is one of them. Let's just select same fill color. I'm gonna hit Command X and just cut it. Exit isolation mode. That's right click. Exit isolation mode. I'm gonna delete all the other stuff. Paste that in. Make it black again, or it doesn't really matter at all. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use on the print file as a starting point. And the other thing I want to do, I'm going to hit compound reduction, and what that's actually going to do, it's going to eliminate all groups and turn it into one common path. But I mean, I could do the same thing just now by this is a button that I made, by the way, an action. I have them set to button mode because I just click them when I'm going. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit Command 8, but now it's a compound path. I don't know if you know what compound path means, but basically, like, this inner shape is like, I don't know, maybe does this explain it? I don't know. It's officially part of the rest of everything else that's there. I moved it around too much. I'm just going to back up. But as you can see, when I bring it over the edge, it's saying, okay, well, inside here can't be part of the positive space, so it has to be negative space. So that's all that really means. It's just like a unified solid object. Oops, went too far. Okay. So I would use this. I would save it as an EPS, send to the client especially if they requested it. And sometimes when, like I said, when I'm throwing it in, just to be nice, I'll just send it over. Usually they're pretty small file types, but if you wanted to do that, let's see, save as EPS. And there's really no harm in doing this either. Just even if you don't want to, give away free stuff, just have it on your own file in case they want to work with you again in the future. You don't have to do it again. I don't ever really mess with any of these settings, so just hit OK. And there's the EPS file, the desktop. I want to see how big it is, just for the sake of knowledge. 1.9 megabytes, nice and emailable. And that's fully scalable, and that's why EPS is beautiful. Okay, that's going to wrap it up, and thanks for watching.